ready for Highdeology, you artistic pieces of shit. Highdeology, yo, light your blunts and pack your bowls. Highdeology, bro, burn that shit like acetone. Highdeology, yo, introducing Salty Paul. Highdeology, bro, you can lick it salty balls. Better open up the door, bitch, it's Gorilla. Got your pussy asses screaming like no vanilla. If you're new up in this bitch, then you might be lost. You might just get the shit cannon like Kawaii tossed. Sorry. So give me the lighter, light the cigarette fire. This is the shit we admire. Get the fitness down to the wire. You must be tripping, this ain't easy work. We burning Bibles and Qurans like we TJ Kirk. Damn. Because Paul is on a mission, obliterating the tism of this generation of offended bitches and syllogisms, tripping acid, having mystical visions, and staying in the mid, growing older and older while you be shitting. Got your girlie getting wetter, why you still screaming, DP better? I don't really give a shit if you a fantasy, get banned when you mention the manatee, and can it be a little bit of vanity? Got me questioning my sanity, pessimistic philosophy, honestly, I want my Highdeology. Yo, light your blunts and pack your bowls. Highdeology, bro, burn that shit like acetone. Highdeology, yo, introducing Salty Paul. Highdeology, bro, you can lick it salty balls.
Lick 'em. Lick 'em up. Lick 'em down. Lick 'em all around. Lick the ball. Watch this shit. Boom. The rules are pinned. What do you think about that? Thank you, Otello, for posting them. I was actually going to go look for them. I was going to go like back through an old one and find somebody who had posted the entirety of the rules. And then put Otello's on the case today. Look at that. Now nobody's got any excuse to not know the rules. Easy as they are, I'm sure they will need to be enforced. Good morning, everybody. My name is Paul Zigo. This is Highdeology, where we get high and talk about ideology. Speaking of getting high, I'm going to grab one of my pre-rolls here. Finished off a little stub of a J, and that's just not going to... It's not going to work. Read and obey, yes. So good morning. How's everything going? Hopefully okay. Just kidding. I hope your day is shitty. Hope all of you are doing shitty today. Hope today has bad vibes and nothing but bad news on the horizon for all of you. Isn't that like the opposite? Like if you always, it's polite to wish somebody a good day, wouldn't it mean that like functionally you could wish them a bad day? Seems correct to me. Getting baked with me? Well, it's a little early, don't you think? You might have a problem, okay, if you're smoking this early in the day. I'm just letting you know. Ad inserted? What? Dude, I just accidentally clicked on a thing and it said ad inserted. Did you guys get an ad right now? That's weird. I can just like throw ads at you anytime I want. Holy shit, bro. I can just like throw an ad. Maybe it's like after. Maybe it's like after there'll be an ad there or something. That's really weird, man. That they've got a button up there that you can hit while you're live and you're like, insert ad. I don't know. I don't know anything about this shit. I know I've seen people on Twitch do it. Like I've seen people on Twitch who are like, I'm going to run an ad, run 5 minutes of ads or whatever the fuck. Dude, I could fucking do that shit as punishment. Chat gets out of fucking line on me. Ads. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? You want to see salty? Here's 5 minutes of ads. Logan's Steakhouse? Why would Logan's Steakhouse advertise with me? I haven't been to a Logan's, like I think it's Logan's Roadhouse, right, is what it's called. That's the place where they used to, and I don't think they do it anymore, which is fucking lame. The one cool thing about Logan's Roadhouse was you got like a big bucket of peanuts, and you could just throw them on the floor. Like, you just throw the shells on the floor when you're done with them. Or is that the Texas Roadhouse? I get mixed up. They're all the same to me. Rogan's Roadhouse? Oh, God, bro. There's this chain called Cody's Roadhouse by me that does the same thing. Yeah, it seems like something with the Roadhouse. I guess that maybe that was a thing, like back in the old day when, you know, Roadhouse wasn't just like a buzzword for corporate-owned theme restaurant. It was actually like a how, you know, like a place where people would stop, get drunk and eat. And like maybe it was like that was cool. They had like a floor of peanut shells or some shit. Like, I don't know, man. I always felt bad doing it. Like, I think I went to whichever one it is that does that shit. I can't remember which one it is that does that shit, but went a couple of times and I participated, you know, in the peanut shelling, but I was just like, somebody's going to have to sweep this up later. Somebody that hates my guts is going to come along and go, look at these pigs. Just tossing their peanut shells everywhere. Never eaten at a Texas Roadhouse. You're not missing much. If you've ever been to an Applebee's, you've pretty much eaten everything that's at the Texas Roadhouse. You know what I mean? See the backlash against the G4 TV host. The comments on those videos are disgusting. She just wants to be viewed as a human. And these Trumper soy boys can't handle it. I have no fucking clue what you're talking about, Amber and Paul, honestly. You guys got to understand, man. I have all but completely unplugged myself from politics, news. I cover that shit on Wednesday. On Wednesday, we do a fucking flash fried or not flash fried, onion nuggets. And that's the day that I look at the news. I gotta be honest with you, man. It has been nothing but a boon to my physical and mental health to not look at that news every fucking day, multiple times a day. And I have a real like drive to do that too. It's been, you know, my whole life really. It's been my adult life. I've always been a dude that's like, I need to know what's going on. Well, do I? Do I really? I think the answer is no. Yeah, I got onion nuggets better. Yeah, I mean, we do too. You know, it's just kind of like uncouples us from the expectation that we're going to be a generalized news show. You know what I mean? Which, you know, I don't think any of us ever wanted that in the first place, to be perceived that way. It was just an expectation that we cover the news, you know. And now you know, I really like better the way that, you know, we kind of sprinkle news stories in and other little things and leave lots and lots and lots of rooms for tangents and this, that, and the other thing. Well, I'm telling you guys, man, the media is designed in order to affect negative feelings in you, to make you feel insecure, to make you feel unsafe, to make you feel like everything's crumbling, to make you feel like we're standing on the, and look, all of that might be true, but they monetize that shit. They monetize making you feel like, oh my fucking God, the world is going to collapse today. And it works. It works for them. Yeah, dread is what sells. And tabletop gamer, it's cool to see you hanging out. You got to get a profile pic, though. It's an anti-troll measure. So I will unban you. Get a warning. But yeah, no, sorry. It's just an anti-troll measure. Just get like a, get a Warhammer symbol or some shit. Get your favorite tabletop game, slap it onto your profile pic, and you're in good shape. I mean, you can see people take it very seriously here. We got Danny DeVito with a big smiling face of Danny DeVito. Alistair with his kitty. System Nomad with, I don't know. I can't tell. I really can't tell. But it's okay. I can tell it's not a default one. That's for sure. Yeah, dude. Simon's, I can't really tell. It looks like a mushroom or something from here. Like a T-Rex head. System Nomads from here. Yours looks like a Muslim man in a turban standing in front of the Stars and Stripes. Yours looks like a Sikh man in a red turban standing in front of an American flag. Alex, yours is Dante. See, you ruined it. I was going to say yours looks like an old lady. Let's see from here. Die Fox, don't guess mine, please. Okay. Well, yours looks like a hot dog being fucked by a peeled banana. I'm not even joking. It looks like a hot dog being humped by a peeled banana, both anthropomorphized. Natal launcher. Okay, yeah. Yours is just a picture of you. Metal Mechanic 666. Just a dude. My eyeballs are going. I have a feeling that the next time I go to see an eye doctor, it's going to be time for Paul to start wearing glasses. It happened to my parents too. My parents both had really good vision until their 40s. And then in their 40s, their vision just started to get really bad. And now both of my parents wear pretty thick glasses. My mom wears bifocals, for fuck's sake. So I can tell my eyes are like slowly but surely rotting out of my head as my body withers. My body crumbles. What was that from? My body crumbles. Is that from fucking Queen of the Damned? It is. That was one of those Queen of the Damned songs that like Korn, or the lead singer of Korn, did with Static X or whatever. I can't remember how it went down. My body crumbles Big Gabe. Yours looks like a furry in a red jumper doing a tap dance. That's what it looks like from here. It looks like a big mascot doing a tap dance. I don't know. Came from Romania to America. Oh. Don't impale me, bro. Don't impale me, bro. Just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, at least it's not Bulgaria. At least you have the foresight to never be from Bulgaria. Bulk Bogan. Yeah, you got pretty good muscles. You're pretty ripped. I can see it from here that you got like chesticles. You know what I mean? DFF meetup in Romania win. Dude, I would love to do a fucking all-night DFF party at Vlad Dracul's castle, dude. Can you imagine if you could just rent out Vlad Dracul's fucking whole castle and have a bash at it? Just get a bunch of like these older gothic kind of bands that aren't popular anymore. You know what I mean? We probably couldn't get Marilyn Manson, but we could get like, I don't know, let me think of some Stabbing Westward or something to come play it. That'd be pretty dope. Some of these like techno goth bands, techno goth metal. You get Stabbing Westward. Bajas, yeah, good choice. Sponsored by Hot Topic. Yeah, dude, we could get Hot Topic to fucking show up and set up a big merch table and shit. Why the fuck not, dude? You know what? As years have gone on, see, here's the thing. Let me talk a little bit about Hot Topic and how it's changed in my estimation. Okay, when I first saw Hot Topic, I don't know what year. Let me look it up here because let me find out like what year Hot Topic showed up, because the mall used to be a big thing back when I was a kid. Now nobody even really cares about the mall. Is there like a Hot Topic? There we go. So first Hot Topic was opened in November 1989. That makes sense. They didn't start getting big until the 90s, but it was opened in Montclair Plaza in Montclair, California. It makes sense why I would be exposed to it pretty early. So here's the thing about Hot Topic. Here's how I used to look at it. I used to look at Hot Topic like, fuck, that's a cool ass store, man. When I was little, when I was young, 10, 11, 12, whatever age I was, first time I saw it in the mall. I thought like, oh, that's a cool as fuck store. Look, it's got all kinds of cool stuff, band posters and cool t-shirts and collectibles and stuff, and kind of like a head shop and a clothing place all in one. That's cool. And then me and all my friends, as I got older, started making fun of people who shopped there. We started like, we started calling it Hot Gothic. Because like all the edgy kids at school would wear t-shirts from Hot Topic with big full face prints of Marilyn Manson or whatever. And so like, you know, as like a fucking high schooler, I thought Hot Topic was the lamest shit ever. And that attitude just kind of stuck with me until like my mid 30s or something. And then I was just like, Hot Topic is fucking cool. I've come full circle. Manson isn't goth. I disagree. Well, okay. Manson himself might not be goth, but Manson was an icon for a lot of goth kids in the 90s. So his aesthetic, while he might not consider it to be goth, I completely and utterly disagree that Manson is not goth. In the 90s, when goth was really in full swing and really like, a thing, it was very, very routine to see goth kids wearing. If I could find the shirt, I'd show you. It's the one where he's wearing 2 different contact lenses, and it's just a big picture of his face with his makeup. Half of his face is gold. The other half looks like pale. Very super duper. Well, you can call them mall goths, but like honestly, all goths at the early stages are mall goths. When you're fucking like 12, 13 years old, you don't have access to fucking blackleatherandlace.com or whatever. Your parents ain't buying you that shit. So, you know what I mean? Like you can't deride kids for trying to pull an aesthetic and using what they got. And that's just the truth, man. Marilyn Manson, a lot of the darker, like, industrial bands. 9 Inch Nails was a goth band. Now, being into 9 Inch Nails or Manson did not necessarily mean you were goth, but a lot of goth kids wore, those kinds of t-shirts and went for that kind of aesthetic. Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, his music, I agree, is not goth music. That was what made me fall out of love with the whole goth scene. It purports to be about bucking back against social norms, but then we were all just dressing in a different uniform sold by the same people. It's just an alternative funnel to conformity. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, you're right. Especially in a hyper-capitalist society like the one we live in, like the way that you express yourself is monetized. And you're given these like choices by society, right? You can be goth, you can be nerdy, you can be this, you can be that, you can... but you're right. It's all just a uniform, just another style of conformist behavior. True outsiders and innovators are shunned. And that's just the truth. If you don't join a group of people and find an aesthetic that you like and you make your own up, you'll be shunned no matter what. If you want to be true goth with unique outfits, go to the thrift store. Yeah. Yeah, no shit. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do. I'm just saying that, like, true uniqueness, the people that truly march to the beat of their own drummer, most of those people are ostracized. Eventually, their aesthetic may be adopted by other people and kind of folded into what's normal and unique, or what's considered normal and passable in a society. But truth of the matter is that if you're in any way buck what's expected of you as a person, outside of the, well-defined subcategories. We're talking about how you dress, how you conduct yourself, what you listen to. If you step outside of that in any real way, you'll find nothing but derision and ostracization. And that, I think, is just primate stuff. You know what I mean? I think that just is another of the billion proofs of our primate heritage. I think that, if you've got a troop of chimps and all of the chimps are kind of going along with what the alpha chimp says and letting the troop leader kind of dictate things, and then you got one chimp over there that's like, no, fuck you, man. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm pretty sure that chimp gets fucking bludgeoned with a rock one day. You know what I mean? Or chased out of fucking the troop and forced to live on his own and fend for himself. And we see that behavior mirrored in human beings. You went through a 70s coke dealer vibe for a while. Yeah, like with the like what did they call them? Those like did you dress like Serpico? Did you dress like Al Pacino and Serpico with those like big open front ruffly shirts with the vests? You know, the baggy vest over it, and then the ruffly white shirt underneath, unbuttoned. Yeah. Okay, the Serpico vibe. I got you. Me and Amelia are watching Serpico right now, so that's the first. Yeah, you didn't do the vest, but you did the ruffly open shirt. Yeah. I get you. I feel you. I've literally known people who adopted accents despite speaking fluent English. Well, I adopted an accent as well, for sure. I did not like the country accent that I was raised with. And if you go and watch all the little Super 8 and what do they call them? Mini DV videos and shit that my parents shot at me when I was little, and you hear me talk, I talked like a little Texan kid. You know what I mean? And that stuck with me all the way up through what is that hat even called that he was wearing? Yeah, that fisherman's hat beanie combo. I want one of those, man. I want to find out what the fuck that hat was called because it was awesome, man. Your parents shot Super 8. My dad had a little bit of Super 8 footage from when I was really young. And then he moved to, I know it's not mini DV, but he moved to a camcorder for a while, which had like a whole ass tape deck for full-size VHSs in it. So he's got some really old Super 8 of us, and then he's got some tape. Well, I mean, my dad probably doesn't have it anymore. My mom has it now, but tapes. So endless VHS tapes and shit. So yeah, I mean, if you listen to me when I was younger, all the way up through like junior high, maybe even, I had a very pronounced Southern drawl that I really hated because none of my friends had it. And it made me feel like, I don't know. It made me feel like an outsider amongst people, and I got made fun of a lot for it. And so when I got into high school, I made a concerted effort to change the way I speak, to adopt a more normal, I guess, what was considered normal California affectation. And I worked on it, and now it's second nature to me to speak either way. But I totally understand people changing accents and shit. Yeah, y'all is, especially like going to the South after living here. I mean, I didn't use y'all a whole lot, before, but now it's, yeah. I got slapped with the y'all bug living down south. Did your friends find that change weird? It didn't happen like overnight. It wasn't like I showed up one day, you know what I mean? I just slowly but surely started to identify what my drawl was and changed it. And so I don't think anybody even really noticed. You know, I didn't have some completely like country accent that totally can't even understand what they're saying. I wasn't that like, you know, West Virginia coal miner accent or nothing, but you know, so it was a more subtle change than you'd probably think, but it just took the twang out of my voice. Y'all, yeah. It's used everywhere now. I mean, it's definitely a useful little aphorism, or we wouldn't call it an aphorism, a useful little language trick. That's one of the things I love about the English language is that, like, it's so malleable. So many languages are set in stone, and adding new words and terms as new things come about, you know, is a very strict thing. And like English, particularly like American English, is just so willing to adopt slang and weird portmanteaus as actual, you know, things. It's a very like complex language, and it's getting more complex all the time. I have to actively speak clearly, otherwise I have an incredibly thick Southern accent that non-Southerners have difficulty understanding. That's cool. I bet I'd understand at least 90% of what you said. I'm not super good at it, but because I grew up around people with varying levels of lilting to thick Southern accents, I can understand a whole lot of Southern drawl. Not all of it. Sometimes I go, huh? But most of the time I can. You guys ever heard of Jesco White? The dancing outlaw, Jesco White. Not a lot of people probably heard of him. Jesco White is part of an infamous kind of family from Boone County in West Virginia, the Whites. Whoa. A little lag spike there for some fucking reason. He's known as the dancing outlaw. Yeah. I put that knife to her throat, and I told her, I said, you won't get better at making these eggs. I'm tired of eating your damn slimy, sloppy eggs. He is a vestige of like a culture, I guess, that doesn't really exist anymore. Not in genuine terms. The kind of outlaw country persona. I'm kind of fascinated with Jesco White and his family. It's kind of a lot of touching stuff that comes out of Jesco White that you wouldn't expect. Like, he's actually got if you search for Jesco White, he's actually got his own channel called Jesco White, the Dancing Outlaw, where he posts videos from various periods in his life and clips of it. And I watched this video called The Cover Up, which was, and I really thought that this was like honestly heartwarming and touching the way that this went down. So it's kind of an involved story. You guys remember the Roseanne show, right? So it had Roseanne Barr, and it had, what's his name? Fucking, I'm going to brain fart on his fucking name. Walter Sobchak. Not Walter Sobchak. That's John Goodman. And it was a sitcom, like a blue-collar family sitcom, right? Well, Roseanne Barr was married to Tom Arnold, and he was also on the show. In real life, she was married to Tom Arnold, and he was also on the show. And he had found this documentary called The Dancing Outlaw about Jesco White and his family. And he fell in love with it. He showed it to Roseanne. She fell in love with it. They showed it to John Goodman. He fell in love with it. They started showing it to the writers, the producers, and all of a sudden they wanted to get Jesco to come down and be on the show. So there is an episode of the Roseanne show where Jesco White does a cameo. And he showed up, and they were all super happy to meet him. And, of course, he was all starstruck, having never been to Hollywood before and stuff, and getting to be involved in all this stuff. And he's taking pictures with Roseanne, and he's got his arm, he's got his arm, he's in the middle, and he's got one arm around Roseanne and another arm around John Goodman. And he takes a picture, and his hand is kind of hanging over Roseanne's shoulder. And he had some tattoos on his hand, one of which was a really sloppily done swastika. It was like up here, just like super, you barely tell it was, but you could kind of tell what it was attempting to be. And he'd gotten that along with a number that was part of a gang or something that he was in prison. And, so the hand that was draped over Roseanne's shoulder had a swastika on it, right? And so she, noticed this and kind of got mad. And then eventually, Tom Arnold, her husband, went over and talked to Jesco about it. And Jesco said, you have to understand, if you understand anything about Jesco White, he was on drugs. He probably still is, but most of his life he spent huffing gas and snorting and drinking whatever he could get his fucking hands on, popping whatever pills he could get his fucking hands on. He was in and out of prison since he was a teenager. So anyway, Tom Arnold, I guess Roseanne got mad and she was like, I don't even want him on the show now. He's a fucking Nazi, blah, blah, blah. He said, wait, let me go talk to him. So Tom Arnold went and kind of talked to Jesco, and he was like, hey, what's this tattoo here? And he said, oh, I got tattoos all over. He didn't even the significance of it to him was just he started showing him other prison tattoos that he had that weren't swastikas. He's like, I got tattoos all over me, man. I was at a point where I was fucking out of my mind, and I'd let people fucking put whatever they wanted on me because, And, Tom Arnold was like, well, that's like a Nazi symbol right up there. Whoa. Another weird lag spike here. It's out of nowhere today. It's going to have lag-tastic shit. Jesus. What is going on? I know this is like YouTube server shit too. Sorry for the, interruption or whatever the fuck. It should be fine now. Had a little lag burst there. Well, that's kind of like, so anyway, to continue going on, I think you guys can see me fine now. Yeah, buffer tube, just wonderful. Let me know, whatever. I'll keep my eye on it, but it looks like it should be back now. So anyways, I was kind of like in the middle of saying that, Tom Arnold went over, he talked to Jesco about it. And he said, that tattoo, he's like, that's a swastika. And he said, Jesco, it was clear that Jesco didn't fully understand the significance of that. He didn't consider himself a Nazi or anything. To him, it was just a crazy tattoo that he got that was from prison. He let people put whatever they wanted. And and Tom Arnold explained to him, he was like, in polite society or whatever, in Hollywood especially, you can't have that on you. That's Hitler. And Jesco was like, oh, man, no, I don't like, Hitler, blah, blah, blah. It's just clear, like, you got to understand, the dude's from West Virginia. I'm not saying he's stupid. And I'm not saying he didn't know what a swastika was. But the meaning of it to him was not, like, having that on him was just like, man, I was fucking crazy when I was young. And I was in jail a lot, and people would fucking put it on this. And so anyway, Tom Arnold was like, look, I know a tattoo shop. Me and Roseanne go there. We love it. I'm going to pay for you if you want. Get that shit covered up, man. He's like, yeah, Then so he went down to a tattoo shop and they put big roses all over his hand to cover up the old prison tattoos. And Tom Arnold paid for it. And Roseanne Barr was cool with it when she realized that he wasn't out there goose stepping or, So kind of cool. Like he realized what was on his arm had more of a negative portent than he ever gave it personally. And he went and got it covered up once he was told that it was, not cool. But I don't know. Jesco's pretty fucking amazing. He has a dancing style that was pioneered by his father, D. Ray White. I can show you a little bit of it, I guess. Hopefully I won't get DMCA'd for showing this, but kind of a fusion of tap dance, flat foot, and mountain dancing.
D. Ray White first learned to flatfoot as a child around home in western West Virginia. Later, he picked up tap steps by watching traveling professional dancers. His dancing is mostly tap, with some flatfoot and some steps of his own. D. Ray dances with hand patting, singing, storytelling, talking blues.
So I really like this type of stuff. I mean, I don't know that I'd sit around and listen to this type of music constantly, but it's just like a very unique kind of fusion of dance and folk music. And his son, Jesco, who we've been talking about, kind of went on to carry on this tradition of dancing like that. Let me see if I can find some of him. Doing his dad's style of tap dance.
Because what happened in the
Let's see. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Let's show you a little bit of this. That's Jesco there. In his younger years, of course, carrying on his dad's tradition. So, pretty neat. In addition, you know, Jesco kind of, you could see that D-Ray was a much more traditional looking guy. And Jesco brought this rockabilly kind of hillbilly West Virginia kind of outlaw country vibe to it. And so he's, you know, kind of like an icon in that circle. He's been mentioned and appeared in and danced in and had his dance steps put in the track of Hank Williams III's songs. Hank III, probably one of the last big outlaw country guys that are still making anything, you know. It was kind of catchy. I mean, it's super catchy, dude. Let me let you listen to Jesco talk here for a minute.
All time, I ain't had time enough to get out to talk to people or to be with many people. And what people I did have was destroying me.
He told me one time at Norbert.
So, Jesco, very plain-spoken dude, but a lot of fucking poetry comes out of this guy. He's like one of those people, you know what I mean? Does not have a traditional education, doesn't mean he's stupid. Wise beyond his scope. He's cute. Yeah, I agree, man. Good looking guy. Let's see. I think there's another little story that he tells here.
He loves that woman. For some reason, I don't know why, but he does.
I never in my life had intentions of having young ones. The way I had to come up when I was a kid, it took the czar out of my heart to have a little baby and no one to shape the worlds into.
My husband didn't like for him to marry her.
That's this other lady here is Birdie Mae White. She was known as the Miracle Woman in Boone County, West Virginia. I think there was something like 60 children over the course of her life who she took in and raised. She was like what stood for an orphanage in the town that had no orphanage. And so there are songs written about her. Hank III has a song about her. Sounds a little bit like Hank Hill, yeah. He's got a very distinct way of talking for sure.
Good, honey.
Yeah, I've threatened your life many times over and over to get your mouth to shut up. I mean, I've told you I'd blow your brains plumb into that riverbank over there just to get you quit arguing and trying to get ahead of me. And you talk everything like it's coming from the heart. Man, he's really going to blow me away, you know.
You would. You would. You hurt me.
Anybody will say...
Just casually threatening to blow your wife's brains into the riverbank. Anyway, he's just a fascinating character to me. You know what I mean? Just a really interesting and fascinating person.
Anything on the endpoints of madness. Marriage is a wonderful thing, but you get a lot of little things with it. It's not perfect. But there's love in it, there's happiness in it, there's also sorrow, hatred, madness in it. It ain't been easy living through all this time, the things that you've done to me. Trying to pick at my brain what little bit's left of it. Hey, look here, I'm not all the way crazy, and I ain't sane, and I ain't drunk. By God, I got sense enough to know what you're doing. And I don't want stuff like this on my video and messing it up.
It ain't gonna be in your video. It's in your biography.
Because
it's
all I want is good, honest dancing and people to enjoy themselves. never know. I might get good at this dancing and.
So. You've lived in those shitty single wides. I've lived in that and smaller. And yeah. It's no bueno. It's not the most fun. All he wants to do is dance. Yeah, look at him.
Come into money and probably make it big. You never know. I might have a whole new life next time you see me.
See, you're not.
Well, I mean, he did. Jesco is like an icon now, especially in the area that he is from. He's like West Virginia royalty.
King of tap dancing. I've never seen nobody, no other man outdance him or outthink him in his mind.
That's his dad, D-Ray.
But to me, I'm left to carry on that tradition, to fill his shoes, and I'm going to do my best to try to do it.
Man, look at this area. Just a crazy amount of unthinkable poverty there. Jessica's gonna dance on this precarious bridge here. This is probably copyrighted, so unfortunately. But yeah. He's definitely got a style all his own. Basically, he hates his wife, but still loves her. Yes. Yeah, that's basically his thing. But anyway, I don't know why I brought up Jesco. I just felt like talking about him. One of those personalities. There's actually a documentary that you can watch if you're interested, done by Johnny Knoxville, of all people. He doesn't really appear in it. The star of the show is the White family, along with Jesco. It's called The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia. You can find it in various places. I'd recommend, if you're interested at all in what Jesco's doing there, that you check it out. His whole family is fucking crazy, as you can imagine, and interesting. And the documentary itself follows just like a whole bunch of like sorrow and pain and good times and bad times that the White family experiences over the course of about a year and a half. Area looks like where you're from. Yeah. I mean, there's some real bad places in the world, I guess. But the people from there, as you can, plainly see, make the best of it to the best of their ability. You know what I mean? And there's some, you can't really dominate the human spirit. You know what I mean? That's what I like about the White family, is they come from absolutely crushing poverty, an area where, like, during their dad's era, the only real choice you had was to be a coal miner in the area, or you were bust out broke with your whole family. And then that went away. And what's left behind is a bunch of people who are on welfare and a bunch of people who are barely scraping by, doing odd jobs. And even under that level of crushing degradation and poverty, there's still these, super unique, individualistic people that just can't help but be themselves in a way that draws people to them. You know what I mean? Like, it just goes to show you. A human being's economic status and educational status is not the measure of their worth. That's what I like about Jesco. That's what I like about the White family. They're just absolute living proof of that. Love that shit. That human spirit, that creativity, and that little gene that makes an individual that doesn't give two shits or a fuck what people think about them, that does not appear in economically, sound areas at any greater frequency than it appears in these economically degraded areas. It just shows you that is sprinkled liberally amongst the human race. And I love that, man. It's just proof to me that a lot of, I don't mean to get like all fucking overly philosophical with it, but hold on, let me fix this. There we go. TJ Scotty, get out of here. It just serves as a reminder to me that a lot of the shit we put up with and a lot of the shit we accept is just illusory. The economy is illusory. Your job and the need for it is illusory. The whole paradigm by which you're judged by how much money you have, the money that you're judged by, illusory. Or illusory, I guess. Illusory. Like, there's something fundamentally human that is without that stack of bullshit, without the economic exploitation, without the explanation of people's labor and time. In spite of it, in fact. Illusaurus Rex, yeah. Illusaurus Rex. And there are any number of people that you could point out that are in this. I'm not saying that they're all comparable equally, but that are definitely in that vein. You look at Louis Armstrong, right? One of the fucking most influential and amazing musicians ever to exist in American history. Came out of the poorest of the poor slums in New Orleans. Was raised at, the poorhouse, basically. The boys' house. And rose up to change the way that people dressed, the way that people thought about music, the way that people danced, the way that people conducted themselves and spoke. He changed the lexicon of the average person. Everybody had one or two of his records. And to this day, people are ripping him off. Not ripping him off, just heavily influenced by everything that he did. Dolly Parton, another great example. That's why my grandmother loved Dolly Parton, by the way, because they had such similar upbringings. My grandmother came from absolute dirt. So did my grandfather. And to my grandmother, Dolly was a symbol that you can make it out of that. I'm afraid that the kind of poverty that we're talking about here, and this makes me really fucking honestly sad, is coming back. I feel like we're headed fucking straight for it. We're talking about broad swaths of the country living in ramshackle environments with very little social services. And, you know, it just sucks to see things heading that way again. Because these people that we're talking about, they work so fucking hard so that their children didn't have to put up with that. Right. I'm not saying that that type of shit ever left. I'm just saying that it was way more widespread. My grandparents, that whole generation of people lived that way. You know what I mean? My grandparents were from absolute dirt poverty. And my parents, just one generation later, were well off working a blue-collar job. So there was a very, very significant upswing in the expectations of what the average person could bring home in comparison to then. And now, all of that is being slowly but surely stripped away. And what's going to be left is this type of poverty everywhere. The Great Depression, I'd say the Dust Bowl is more like it. There are going to be people who are busted out, fleeing these areas of economic and environmental devastation. And it just breaks my heart that, you know, there's going to be a generation or two or three of humanity that's going to have to deal with that as the baseline of their life. But take heart, because you can still be an individual under those crushing economic circumstances. You can still express yourself. You don't have to let it rule your life. I just think people are going to have to retool their expectations for what that means. And maybe for the better. Maybe that aspect of human nature needs to be taken offline. Maybe this idea that you have a persona on the internet. Yeah, that shit just doesn't need to happen. Maybe that fantasy world is an overall overarching negative. I'm not saying get rid of the internet, but maybe get rid of this worship of the personality and start thinking a whole lot more locally again. I think that would do nothing but benefit humanity. Keep your Twitter. Use it to get news and make funny little jokes and shit. But this kind of like I'm building my personality in a virtual world kind of, the way I see that moving, dude, that's nothing but despair. You're schizophrenic. Your life is crazy. I can empathize, if not sympathize, my friend. Anyway, we got a premiere, the new DFF premiere happening now. Let me launch you out of the doom cannon into some lovely, lovely deep fat fried. If you haven't checked it out, deep fat fried, there are a few people, I guess, here that, you know, just watch me. Hey, go check out deep fat fried. Link is down below to the podcast. Be going live here in about 2-3 minutes. So have fun with that. Yeah. And thanks for chilling with me today. I'll see you guys next time.